A programmer is writing a program that is intended to be able to process large amounts of data. Which of the following considerations is least likely to affect the ability of the program to process larger data sets? So we need to find out which one of these will be least likely to affect the ability of a program that processes large amounts of data. So A says how long the program takes to run. Since we're going to be processing large data sets, if a program takes too long to run, then it would have especially large run times if we're processing large amounts of data. So runtime is a consideration that will affect the ability to process large amounts of data. B says how many programming statements the program contains. So this is not necessarily true. Unlike the amount of time that a program takes to run, time is a finite thing. The amount of programming statements does not affect the ability to run a program with large amounts of data, because some programming statements are much more efficient and some are much less efficient, meaning a lot of very efficient programming statements would not take much time or space or memory to run, while a few very inefficient statements could be the opposite. It would take a lot of time and space and memory to run. So the amount of statements itself doesn't affect the ability to run a program. It's more about the efficiency of those statements. So B is likely the answer because that is a consideration that will affect the ability of program to process, since it is least likely to affect the ability to run large data sets. But let's read the others. So C says how much memory the program requires as it runs. So memory is basically a fast version of storage that we can use while running the program to store certain things. And if a program does use a lot of memory, memory is a finite thing on machines. You can't use more than what is already in the machine. So this definitely is a consideration that could affect the ability to run a program, because if our program uses too much memory, it may not be able to run with large data sets on a machine. So C is not the least likely to affect the ability of a program to run large data sets. D says how much storage space the program requires as it runs. So similar to C, storage space is finite. You can't use more than what's on the machine. So a programmer needs to consider the amount of storage space that is available if running a program with a large data set. So B is the correct answer, since just the number of program statements alone, without any consideration of their efficiency, does not affect the ability of the program to process large amounts of data.